Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Swati Shahi, and I welcome you all to an exclusive webinar on advanced live streaming charts on ICICIdirect.com. In our endeavor to provide the best features and improve understanding on advanced charts and technical analysis of the same, we've started to engage with you all through this webinar medium. Live streaming advanced chart is a very important feature for all users of the stock market and helps to enhance the customer experience for all. Here, we want to guide everyone on what is advanced chart and how to make use of advanced chart for all level of customers, be it traders or investors. For the same, we have a special guest with us today, Mr. Dharmesh Shah, Vice President, Research at ICICI Securities. Mr. Shah has been with ICICI Securities for almost 20 years now and has a vast knowledge on technical analysis. Welcome, Mr. Dharmesh.
Good afternoon, sir.
Let me begin by asking you to provide us with an introduction to advanced charts and why are they important, if you could explain.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, definitely. If you look at our Indian stock market, it has been one of the most volatile markets across the world. And such volatility, if you look at, will create you to give you a lot of opportunity to make money. So, in such volatility, we get an opportunity, but you should be at the right track at the right time. And one can make phenomenal returns if one is on the right track. And the other side, losing is also, if one is on the dark side, make see heavy losses in the market. To overcome this losses and to see a right trading strategy, we see technical analysis is a one important point where one can make phenomenal returns if one is on the right track. What is technical analysis? Technical analysis is a science which predicts the future price based on the historic price trends. And it is more like an investor, evolving like an investor psychology. I would say explain the psychology, which over a period of time, it all evolves through a patterns and that already seen in our prices. So we believe advanced chart, as we talk for advanced chart, why technical is necessary? Because you should be at the right time at the right place and you can be able to track the opportunities in such volatile market. Advanced chart is something beyond the normal basic chart which is created by the Excel. See, suppose let us say if you want to plot a, you have some one point of data and you want to plot it on the chart. In advanced chart, you can have multiple sets of data on a single chart, and you can compare the multiple data on a single chart, which is not possible on the normal basic Excel chart. So advanced chart is something which helps you in your day-to-day trading activity as well as taking a positional calls. You can compare the 2 to 4 charts at one point of time with multiple studies at one single point of time. So advanced chart is something different from the normal basic chart and helps you in taking right decision, I would say, in trading activities.
Mr. Shah, could you support the same with some examples, basically of the most common chart style used and how can one read them?
Yeah. Suppose if you want to go for Nifty, if you look at my screen, there is a Nifty chart already there in
Yes.
my screen. And if you, as a day trader, for a public who are day trader, I would advise to go to intraday chart with a 15 minute. You have an option here where you can go for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So you have an option here. For day trader, I would say 15 minutes charts works fine, where you can look for the candlesticks already displayed on the candles, where you have a display also which type of candles, whether you want to go with the candlesticks patterns or a bar type pattern, you can select those on just going to the display. So but normally in our Indian market, we generally in technicals we use candlesticks patterns, seems to be more giving you the accurate signals, where again in this you can add your studies now with something like you want to see a trend line where the market has taken a support in last 15 minutes or trade or something like a resistance. Just go to the draw on the left hand side where you have tools of multiple tools where you can draw the line. Suppose you just scroll down to the line where you can one second. Draw a trend line now. Trend line you can show on the intraday chart where you can see the resistance now. There the stock has, if you look at the 15 minutes chart, you see the this red candle has been facing the stiff resistance at the trend line. So this is how you can spot the resistance also. Just to take you a broader picture, if you look at the weekly, go to the weekly chart of the Nifty, you will able to see the how the market has behaved in last 9 to 10 months. Just look at the trend line. If you can draw the trend line joining the lows since the March, it's clearly showing you that Nifty has taken the multiple support near this trend line. If I want to see this on the display, you have a chart perspective, go to display where you can look at the log scale also. So if you look at the log scale, it's clearly showing you most of the time whenever the Nifty has seen the support near the trend line, one there is more demand than the supply at that trend line. So this is how the technical helps you with multiple sets of data. There you can draw a trend line and which clearly shows whenever the price approaches to those trend line that and it starts sustaining about those levels, one should definitely take a buy signal. So this is how the importance of trend line is in, and I would say importance of tools in technicals where you can use multiple tools at one point of time. Suppose inside this, if I want to add something like ADX, which is advanced declines, which shows you the strength of the market. So if you look at here, it's clearly showing you that whenever the 14-day ADX, or I would say a green line is a positive and the red line is a negative. Whenever the green line crosses the average line, 14-day period, it's always started with a positive signal. It's clearly showing you the trend. I would say the strength of the trend of the market, how much strength is there in the market. So this is how the multiple studies can be seen at one point of time in advanced chart. So this is how I would say one can use multiple options here, right, with studies also, right? You can also use the averages, I would say, where if you look at the moving average is something the most common thesis which we use in a day-to-day activity. Where if you look at the moving average, for example, if you go to moving average, you have options to see the changes also. If you want to go for 50-day, 200-day, 21-day, depend upon your choice. But yeah, 50-day, if you look, just look at the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. See, I will draw a daily chart here at the front of you. And if I want to remove now this trend line because it is getting too much of jumble up, so just right click on those candles and just delete the draw line. You will see that that's got removed. Now look at the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. Most of the time since March, Nifty has found multiple support near this 50-day moving average. So supported by ADX, whenever Nifty approaches the 50-day moving average, look at the trend line of the ADX, it started sustaining above the black line, the green line. So it's clearly giving you the showing you the strength in the market. So this is how I would say that the multiple times you can look, multiple data can be plotted in a single chart and that can be used. Suppose if I want to use 200-day moving average, which is the most common phenomena for the long-term investor, you can also draw the 200-day moving average here, and you can see that the Nifty has been taking a support near the 200-day moving average. If I want to now see that the particular day price, what was that price? If you look at the left-hand side, it's clearly showing you the open, close, volume, high, low, and the day. So it's all is available on a single point of chart.
So, briefly put, we can compare between various stocks in the same screen along with the indicators, correct?
Yes. I will show you the comparison also, Swati, how we can compare. Suppose if I want to compare a cement space where I feel ACC is one stock which should be plotted.
Right.
Apart from ACC, I would also put Ambuja cement where you have to go for the selection with compare. If you look at the left hand side, just click on the compare, enter the symbol of Ambuja cement. Just click on it. One second. See, if you see the blue line, blue chart is a line chart. It is a Ambuja cement chart. If you look at the, if you highlight there, it's showing you AMBCE. So it's Ambuja chart and the ACC. So this is how you can also look at the performance of, if you, I want to see the performance of ACC Ambuja, which is relatively outperforming, it clearly shows that Ambuja in near term has been outperforming. So it clearly shows
Right.
the performance of the internal peers also, like Asian Paint and Berger Paint, for example, inside the same industry. You can compare the comparison chart also in this. Apart from that, Swati, I would like also like to highlight the something on the tools side, I would say. Suppose if I want to remove now this Ambuja, just click on the X, you will see an Ambuja also, you can remove it out. And if I want to enter now the new stock, suppose if I want to go for Nifty, because
Right.
Nifty is the most common trading platform right now in the Indian market. One second. Yeah. When I see the Nifty, you can also look the multiple tools also here, Swati, by
Yes, yes,
going,
yes, I can.
yeah. So suppose if I want to see a channel for, suppose how the market has been moving, because always channels works in the uptrending market. So just a 5 minute. Just if I want to see the channel, go to the weekly chart or something where you can see the proper channel for the market. Suppose I want to see the channels.
Right.
So just I go there and click on the channels and see how the Nifty has behaved with the channels. It has been trading in these channels for multiple times. Now, how this channels helps you? So if you look at these channels, most of the time, whenever it approaches to the lower band of the channel, it is most of the time it has taken the support on the weekly chart. At the same time, if you see at the upper band of the channel, whenever it hits the upper band of the channel, it has always faces a selling pressure. I would say a profit booking. So this is how for the trader it helps you to work whenever the stock prices or Nifty
Right.
approaches to the lower end of the channel, you should buy. Whenever it approaches to the upper end of the resistance trend line, you should look for the selling or something like profit booking. So this channels clearly works during the uptrending market. And currently, if you look at the market, I think so. This moving average, which I have shown, 50-day moving average, it's clearly working in this market also. So this is how it's work out. Also, if you look at the Fibonacci Fitch pop, now Fitch pop is also one part which one can suppose if I want to remove this study, just right click on it and just delete the drawing. Suppose if I want to look for something like the multiple support and resistance for the Nifty, what I can do is something, just a second. Yeah. Just click on the pitchfork on the daily tools. It crosses, it takes a 3 point at one point of time. And it shows. So if you look right now, it taken the low, high, and a low. So it pitchfork works with the three trend lines. Where again, if you look, most of the time, whenever it hits the upper band of the channel, it stays the selling pressure. At the same time, whenever it hits the lower band of the channel, it always see a buying demand getting emerge. So this is how also one can use from the medium term perspective. It clearly works on the daily and the weekly charts. Apart from that, I would say that the lines are one which is more common where most of the people use it.
Okay.
If you go to the line, you can just draw the line with multiple supports and whatever part you want to see, you can clearly visible on the line chart also. If you see a jumble up, you can also delete this pitchfork. Now you can clearly see the line chart where most
Yes.
of the time Nifty is sitting on the support. So this is how the daily tools works out. The most daily tools I would say is trend line is I think so the one which clearly joining the significant tops and bottoms, which clearly shows you where the buying demand is expected and where the selling pressure is shown. So in trend lines, you get support and resistance. At the same time, when we stop for support and resistance, retracement is the most common part, which Fibonacci, I would say the Fibonacci retracements. So if you look at the Fibonacci retracements, if you look at the daily tools, if I want to take the retracement of this particular movement for the Nifty, which has shown recently the move from bottom, this is the bottom which I have marked, and this is how I mark the top. This is the top. Now there are so many retracement. If I don't want all such retracement, just click on the right click, edit the settings, go to settings. You can delete the all those parts of the 38%. The most common retracement which I use is 38%, 50%, 61%, and 78%. Rest all you can remove it out because it will give you misguide you most of the time. So I will not say misguide, but it will not be of much use, I would say. Where again, so now it's clearly showing you the retracements.
Yes.
Yeah, now there are only four lines 38, 50, 69. So if you look at the current retracement, market has seen a support at 50% retracement and seen a sharp bounce back. So retracements are nothing but the corrections which occurs after the sharp rally. Both it's something the fall which corrects the rise, and sometimes it's the rise which corrects the fall. So most common retracements which are used is 38, 50, 61, and 78%. But my advice to all of you, that it helps you in taking a call when to buy and when to sell in your day-to-day activities also. So this is how the daily tools works out. Yeah,
Okay. Mr. Shah, we would also like to understand that what kind of studies are used by day traders and investors?
yeah. So for traders, I would say, as I shown you that the first one we have already seen the ADX one. Now ADX is something I will just delete it off most of the things otherwise it will jumble up. Just go on the studies, and ADX is the one common which one can use. Yeah. So the 14 period, it is a ADX now. Let's take the average of the 14 bars, where the black line is the average 14-day bar, and the green
Okay.
and the red line is something which shows you the strength of the market. So green is a positive and red is negative. So whenever the ADX line, whenever the green line crosses the black line, see here you may see the KC exactly at the bottom. Whenever the
Right.
green line surpasses the black line, 14-day average, it's seen a sharp move. It's clearly showing the strength in the stock, in the Nifty, I would say. It's a Nifty chart. So it shows the how much strength is there in the market. So currently, if you look at the market, it is getting most of the red and green are intersecting each other. So there is no clear signal happening in the market right now. So maybe but still, if you look at the green line, it is still sustaining about the black average line, ADX line, 14-day. So ADX shows you the strength in the market. Second, which is the most common, which we use is the Bollinger Band. Now, Bollinger Band, if you look at the Bollinger Band, Bollinger Band are composed of, I would say, three lines. One of the most common calculation used is the 20-day simple moving average from the middle band, which is this middle band. And the upper band is calculated by taking the middle band and adding twice the daily standard deviation of that amount. So if you look at the Bollinger Band, whenever it approaches to the lower end of the band, markets see a support and we have seen a bounce back. At the same time, whenever it hits the upper band of the channel of the Bollinger Band, we have seen a selling pressure. So Bollinger Band also helps you in intraday. If as a trader, I would suggest you to look for 15 minutes chart in intraday because it gives you more accurate signals compared to the 5 minutes. Because in 5 minutes, sometimes we may see a whipsaw signals happening in the market, but 15 minutes has been working fine for intraday traders. Just a minute.
Sure.
It is getting hang. Just a second.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. So 15 minutes also, this is the intraday chart. Now, if you look at the intraday chart currently, it is exactly the 20-day moving average and it's approaching. If you look at the morning chart, it has hit the upper band of the channel and after that it has seen a good correction in the Nifty from the upper band of the Bollinger Band. So Bollinger Band generally helps you to determine the entry and exit point for a trade. So as in currently we advise to look for 20-day moving average with a standard deviation of 2. It works fine in most of the intraday as well as on the daily time frame also. So Bollinger Band is one which can one can use. If you want to remove this Bollinger Band, you can delete the
Right.
taking a light click. Apart from Bollinger Band, also you can look for moving averages. Now, as I said, moving averages, you can use multiple moving average. For short-term traders, I would say they look for 5-day moving average as well as 8-day moving average also for short-term traders. As a medium-term trader, we can also look for 5 or something like 8-day moving average also works for the short-term traders where they take whenever the price starts sustaining above the 8-day moving averages, you see the movement happening, and whenever it breaks, you see a selling pressure happening in the market. So 8-day and 5-day is good for the short-term trader. For the medium-term trader from 12 to 15-day horizon, one can also look for 13-day moving average which is also working for the medium term perspective. One can look for. Also on the weekly chart, it works fine for 13-day moving average. If you look at the 13-day moving average, most of the time it has taken the support near the 13-day moving average and I've seen the multiple rallies happening in the market. So moving average is one which one can use. The most common moving average is 200-day moving average, which we follow in our Indian market, and that has been working for the I would say for long-term investor. Suppose for particular stocks, if I want to see for ACC, now ACC 200-day moving average. See, currently, if you look at the chart of the ACC, I will not go into much of the explanation right now, but yeah, definitely on 200-day moving average, on daily chart, look at the ACC. It has seen a support, and after what has happened, that is the history for ACC or something like Asian Paint. So generally, my suggestion for all of you is that 200-day moving averages generally works when you see a good correction happening in the market like 20, 30%, which we have seen in last March 2020 on the back of pandemic. So at that point of time, it works fine. So once it starts sustaining about the 200-day moving average stock, it is something a long-term signal for a buy. But I would also say at the same time that moving averages generally are the late signals. They are not the early indicators of the sea. So if I want to look for the early indicators which can give me the early signs of buying and selling, I should look at stochastics. I think the oscillators. Oscillators plays a fantastic role in their works. So stochastics, if I look at stochastics, uh, now it is important to see which type of stochastics are you adding it into. So a short-term trader, if I am a short-term trader, I can use a 5-day stochastics, which will help me,
Okay.
which will give me the much early signals compared to the moving average. I would say. Look at the whenever the stochastics, whenever the price crosses moving stochastics crosses the 5-day moving averages. What has happened if you see whenever the stochastics can be interpreted into two ways. It generally gives you the indication whether the market is overbought or oversold. A stochastics below a value of 20, 15 is something which has been regarded as a oversold territory. Whenever the stochastics crosses 80, 85, and 95, it is understood to be said as overbought condition. So just look at the daily chart of the stock by plotting the stochastic. The stochastics, when I say it give you the early signals, look at the signal right now here. Whenever the stochastics say, whenever it has approaches to the overbought condition of above 80 levels, it has seen a selling pressure in the market. But I would say it's not compulsory that stochastics can remain into overbought for a long period of time and the market can rally further. It is not compulsory that if a stochastics is overbought, you should go and sell in the market, or when the stochastics is oversold, you should just buy in the market because you have to use multiple other parameters also apart from stochastics to understand the depth of the market. So look at the weekly chart. If I look at the weekly chart of the stochastics, Whenever the statistics approaches to this line of 20 statistics, it has seen, just I want to show the how you can arrive at the value. If I want to see the value, just
Right.
go on the crosshair, click on the crosshair, you will see the statistics value. It is showing
Yes.
you the 8.5 on the left right hand side. So this shows you the value of the statistics. So whenever the statistics, it is generally a indication, I would say. It gives a early indication that market is going into oversold. So whenever you see something signal on the buying side, just jump into the market. So statistics are something the early indicators of the market and early signals, I would say, which one can approach. So for the short-term trader, you can look for 5 day. If I want to look for the medium term perspective, from the positional perspective, you can also use statistics by just go on the right click, edit the settings, just type 21, and then you will see the signals like now. So what is currently showing you? It's showing you that both of them are getting intersected. So if you look at the curve, I
Right.
think so the most interesting
Yeah.
part is you should understand the curve. It's showing you the upward trend. Not right now it is showing, but the curve is getting flattening. And once it
Yes.
starts flattening, it starts showing. If you see some bit of a signal, you should take a judgment and you should jump into the market for the while, because once it starts flattening and start moving about the average line of 21, you will see a buying signals in the market. So currently a statistics of 33 is something positive for the market, and we believe, I think so, in the short term, market should be heading for life high, which is 15,500. So overall, I think this statistics is something which one should be looking out more interestingly. Apart from statistics, you can also look the volume. I think so. The volume is the most important parameter in Indian market.
Right.
As we talk, as we always say that Bhau Bhagwan hai. At the same time, we also say that the price is volume is also a good indicator for the market. To show you something on the volume part, I would like to highlight you the Laurus Lab chart. Now, Laurus Lab has been the outperformer for a long time. If you look at the chart of the Laurus Lab,
Yes.
this is just a weekly chart. I will show you the monthly chart. Monthly will help you a lot in understanding the market. See the volume part happen at the bottom of the chart. Earlier, if you look at the volume, it was just 2 lakhs, 20 lakhs. Suddenly, in the month of May, the volume has started 3 times, 4 times. So it is the first indicator which shows that the volume has started picking up on the monthly time frame. And after that, what has happened? That is the history. You should also look at, since I'm not going for the learning part here, one thing one should look at, as in technicals, we always say trend is your friend. And when we say trend is your friend, you should look at the higher top, higher bottom formation. First sign of any of the stocks or the market, Nifty, to understand which side the trend is, you should look at whether the stock is making higher top, higher bottom formation or lower top, lower bottom formation. If you look at the lower stock, it was been into lower top, lower bottom formation since March. In April, it has started making higher top, higher bottom formation, and the rest is the history. Supported by strong volume. Look at the volume spot in the month of August. So this
Yes.
is how the volume part works. It also works even in the intraday too, I would say. Volume is all for a day trader, I would say. Volume and price is the most important. And apart from that, you should look at the combination of stochastics of 5 and 21 in intraday charts. So this gives you the best intraday signals in understanding how the things are. Look at the volume here in intraday in the dollar slab. So it's clearly still the time is left 3:30, but somebody on the intraday chart has seen a good volume and some good buying has spotted in this range of 355, 55, 56. So maybe the end of the day may be good for the dollars. You need to see, but it shows you the signals of buying and selling. So volume is the most important parameter one should look at. Apart from volume, you should also look something like super trend. I would say super trend is something now. 1 second, just as a name. If you see the suggest the super trend, it is an indicator like moving averages, and it is plotted on the price and the placement. So whenever the price knows about the green line, it is a buy signal. See here, most of the times. It, whenever the price sustains above this green line, it is a buy signal. And whenever the price breaks the red line, you see the sell signals are getting started generated. It works more on the intraday as well as on the daily chart. So these are daily chart. So super trend generally is an indicator which is easy to use and gives you the accurate reading about the ongoing trend, I would say. So look at this
Okay.
currently. It is giving a buy signal right now in super trend on the daily chart. So whenever this price starts sustaining above the green line, it is a buy. And whenever the price breaks this red line, we see a selling pressure in the market. So this is how it gives you the signals in super trend. Now is the MACD. Now moving average converges divergence. Now when I say this, so moving average convergence. Now, when I say moving average is something most simple phenomena which we use in our day-to-day activity, which I would like to remove the volume and just show only the moving average. Yeah, just go to studies, go to MSCD now. Now, currently it is at
Okay.
12, 26, and 9. I would suggest for traders who are looking for a short term, can look 5, 8, and 13 with 8 being a trigger point for the line. And look at the chart now, moving average. It's daily, yeah. So currently it is showing you the sell signal in moving average because the price has still been sustaining the 5-day moving average. Sorry, the averages of the prices has been sustaining below the 8-day moving averages. So it's a clearly as right now a sell signal on the moving average. So whenever if you look at the just look at this average, whenever the average line cuts the moving averages of 5. Look at the momentum in the market you have seen. So moving average is something is a combination which you can use with 5, 8, and 13 is for the short term. From the medium term perspective, if you want to look for positional trades, you can also look for 8, 13, and 21. When I use all this, it's something of Fibonacci numbers. All these are Fibonacci numbers. So here also you can look at the positional trades on the just look at the weekly chart. I would say show you the clear signals on the weekly chart. Yeah. So whenever this line has
Yes.
crossed this, you look at the rally which has happened in the market. It shows the spectacular rally, and once it starts breaking above below this line, you see the market has been sideways right now for a long time, and it is now currently showing a sell signal. So I will not say sell, but it clearly shows you that there is less strength in the market and no
Yes.
profit booking currently happening in the market. So MACD is also one which can be used. Last but not the least is RSI, Relative Strength Index. When I say Relative Strength Index, it is again an indicator which shows you whether the market is overbought and oversold. 14-day RSI is something commonly which we use in our day-to-day. Currently, if you look at the value, it's showing you the 58.60. So it's been known truth that it's been said that whenever the RSI is below 20, 30, it's been considered as an oversold, and only above 70 and 80 is been considered as overbought. So it generally gives you the indication whether the market is overbought and oversold. But just playing on single RSI will not work. You have to use multiple comparisons and multiple tools to be data to be plotted on the chart to get the accurate signal. Just don't have a single data point and take a judgment on the market. So RSI is nothing but just evaluate you to say, determine you to help you to know whether the market is overbought and oversold. So this is how our studies work in day-to-day work. These are the most common studies which I will share with you, which can help you
Okay.
in day-to-day activities. Yeah, Swati.
Okay. Mr. Shah, I also wanted to know if one can use the draw functionality in advanced sheets.
Draw. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
the draw functionality.
Yeah, draw function which we call in the starting itself. That if I want to draw, the draw is something where it's something that tools which have been shown on,
In advanced sheets as well.
yeah, in advanced sheet as well, where we have used channels, trend lines, Fibonacci retracements, and something like that. Suppose I just want to show you that we have done something like studies in this. For example, just to take
Yeah.
something like Zydus. These are chart of Zydus trends. If you look at currently, the stock is doing nothing. It is a five. By default, you will see a 5 minute chart open, but it is up to the
Yeah,
trader
yeah.
whether you want to go for daily, weekly, or 15. If you look at the current, in this technical terms, we take this as a base formation.
Right.
After a movement, more for base formation. If I want to draw something, if I want to have done something plotted here that something is going on, and if I want to recollect that, what is that? So I would like
Mm-hmm.
to see this base formation. So what can I do? I can go here to all. You can add your favorite schools also.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Just want to add here that favorites are something where you can add your favorite. Something like if I am most commonly use something like suppose one second. Just click on right click your favorite. Yeah, suppose I want to say a marking something like that. Here
Mm-hmm.
marking is there. So just I want to see, I can draw here the marking, something like this,
Yes, yes.
which I can show here. And if I want to add something here,
Okay.
what I have done, something, just go to text, here call out, I will say, I would like to write base formation, base. Just save here, where there is a button of save.
Mm-hmm.
It is getting saved. So I can also draw something which I like my studies, where I can write
Okay.
whatever I want to write and can
Right,
save it.
right.
So in the text
As
you can
advanced.
go
Yes.
and you can look all the statistics, or something like technicals. If I want to look for technicals, you have certain like Fibonacci, pitchfork and all those part which you can use on day-to-day activity as speed resistance line. If you want to go to something like Fibonacci retracement, which you already seen the retracement part, Fibonacci retracement, you can click here directly instead of going to all the here you may get confused. So if I want to so just see the Fibonacci retracement, just go here and have it the Fibonacci. You can click here. From here also you can use this the same Fibonacci retracement. You can use it in day-to-day activity. So this is how the drawing helps you in day-to-day activity. Apart from that, I would say that something like if I want to see a measure of the movement in the stock, just click here on the measure. You will see the how much point fall you have seen in the Nifty and Zyder. So it's clearly showing you 363 points with 30 bars. So if I want to see how much point of correction has been taken place in Xylite, you can easily plot it out by just click on the measure and whatever period if you want to select, you can select it out by showing it's showing you that 370 points correction has been witnessed in Xylite awareness. So a direct calculation without looking at the calculator. So this is how it works. If I want to remove this drawing, just delete the right click. You can delete here also on the
Right.
right click. So this is how it works in day-to-day
It was.
activity. So drawing is one which we can use. Apart from that, I would like to also highlight something like suppose a trader want to look for if I want to look for 6 month chart, just on the right hand right click right hand side on the bottom, Just click on the six
Okay.
months. You will just get the 6 months data. If I want
Okay.
to see a YTD, I can see a YTD.
Right. Okay.
If I
What? Right.
if I want to see 1 year, 5 year, also data is available. Or also if I want to see, everything is available. So depend upon the trader perspective, which
Right.
time frame is looking out for, he can use it in day-to-day activity. Suppose at the same time, the most important part as for the intraday traders, I would say, Swati, is something that if he
Okay.
wants to go for trade from the current itself, log in trade. This is a chart. Now if I'm an
Mhm.
intraday trader and I want to look, as I said, that I'm plotting the Nifty chart, suppose.
Mhm.
1 second. Yeah.
Mhm.
So these are fine. Let's say the 15 minutes works fine. So 15 minutes, suppose there is something sideways, but I want to buy something from. So I don't need to go to my website back to my place order. Here there is an option called trade, which just I click on trade. I had an option whether I want to go for buy
By
or
okay.
sell.
Yes. Or you sell.
So
Okay.
directly from the current
Hmm.
itself on the chart, you can execute your trade. This works fine for the intraday traders because in intraday time is more important for all of us,
Okay.
for us, for
Yes.
intraday trader. We cannot miss that opportunity. So to not to miss that opportunity, we have given this facility inside the chart, where inside the chart also you can see the execution part of trade. Just click on the trade button and whatever you want to do, whether buy or sell, you can immediately execute the trade without a loss of time. So this is how it works. A best software where everything is there inside all in one. Where you can have a trading execution also, you can have your studies also,
Right.
and real time frame. If you look at the price also, it's showing the real time. Currently, Nifty is 15,163. So all in one is available here. Last
Right.
but not the
Uh,
least, Swati, I would just sorry to if I want
yes.
to
Yes.
see,
Please.
yeah, yeah, suppose if I want to see something like option is here. I'm sorry. It's okay, fine. Yeah, okay.
Should I move ahead or?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Okay, okay. Mr. Shah, my next question would be if you could, provide examples of analyzing entry points in the market on the basis of indicators.
Yeah, this I just I showed in the starting itself only Nifty.
Hmm.
For example, if I
Yeah.
would take the Nifty, it's a Nifty on the chart. Yeah. So if you look at the Nifty chart, how it helps you in day to day. As I said, that trend lines are the one of the most common which we use every day.
Hmm.
Where whenever the price approaches to those trend line, you should look at buying, and whenever it approaches to the resistance line, it is a sell. Suppose a trend line, if I draw this trend line, I want to take you to lock scale. Just one second. Okay. So whenever the price approaches to the trend line, it is a buy. It's not showing you one second. Yeah, so this. So whenever it approaches to the trend line,
Hmm.
the risk reward becomes very favorable. Or I would say something like on the daily chart, like moving average, as I say, 50-day moving average. If you look since March 2020, it has been working very fine. I will just show you the example. Just go to moving average, click on 50 and get it done. So most of the time, whenever the market has seen a support at 50-day moving
Right.
average,
Yeah. Yeah.
it has taken the support. Apart from that, one is trend line which you can use. That seven is moving in. Also, you can look at retracements also. As I said, that retracement works best in both the side of the market. Suppose if I want to see that the market has seen a good run up, but most of the time, as I said, the major common retracement which we use in our day-to-day activity is something 38, 50, 61, and 80%. Suppose if I want to see the move which happens from 13,000 to 15,000, I want to see the retracement of this. Suppose I selected the low and high and just click on here. And I don't want all such lines because, as I said, you don't require all those studies of 30 on a higher side. So just remove all this 61 negative 38 0. So get it done. Now, now if you look at this, market has seen a support at 50-day moving average. So you can also use this again that at 50-day moving average, you can look at the market if the price starts sustaining about the 50-day moving average. Sorry, not 50-day, 50% retracement of the move. It started from 13,000 to 15,000. So the retracement is again a good part one can look out for where most of the time this market seeing taking support at 50-day, 50% retracement and 61% retracement. So retracement is one part also you can add your studies and which will help you to take a call in your day-to-day activity, trading activity. I would not say into day-to-day, it also helps you in the positional. Just I would like to give you one example of TCS.
Right.
Just a live example I will try to talk about. TCS. Now, TCS has been into the consolidation for, has been into collection, I would say, for a long time. Whenever you want to plot something like, see, I'm not here for, we are not doing teaching, this is not a learning, but just for a knowledge part. But whenever we
Mhm.
see a retracement, we should always look at the important tops and bottoms for most of the stocks. So when I talk for TCS, just go for TCS, go to select the retrace, Fibonacci retracement. Just the base formation is always a good area to point a low, and the high was the around 33, 34. Just select the high. I've drawn those retracements. Now, as I said, you don't require all those retracements. Just on the edit part, you can just remove all this part. Yeah, see the beauty of this
Mhm.
retracement. Now, we have selected the retracement. PCS
Right.
is exactly taking support at 61%, 61.8%. See, as I
Yeah.
highlighting it here. And after that, we have seen a move from those retracement. What we see now is that possibility once the stock on the weekly chart start making high top, high bottom formation, it is a buy again. So retracement is something which gives you the judgment, I would say. If the price starts sustaining about those retracement levels, I think so one should definitely look at buying those stocks. So retracement is again a one classic example to look out for. Look at the weekly chart now. Now the weekly chart, this is the current week which the chart is to yet to form in the closing this weekly it is expected. But after the sharp fall, the previous candle has been the inside bar candle and the current candle where has not broken the previous low. So once it starts sustaining about 3100, 3050, 3060, you can see, I think so, the higher the high bottom formation for TCL and which can see a sharp move in the coming days down the line. So as I say that as a trader, you should definitely look for those stocks which are making high top, high bottom formation. Look at, just to give you example, right now,
Mhm.
if you look at my cursor is here, look the higher top, higher bottom formation has helped the stock to move from 20, I would say 20 to 50 to 2750. And after that, a base formation, again a higher top, higher bottom formation. So for traders, I think so the two important thing is, I think so they should definitely look at the first trend. As I said, trend is your friend. Look at the
Mhm.
stocks which are making high top, high bottom on the positive side. For the negative side, on the shorting side, look for the stocks which are forming lower top, lower bottom formation. At the same time, you should look the multiple studies like stochastics, RSI, moving averages, as well as I said, Fibonacci retracement, pitchfork. All this combination will help you in your day-to-day as well as the positional trades.
Okay. Mr. Shah, my last question to you would be that can we save the view and trade from live streaming chart?
Yeah, for tools, I doubt there is no, still you can't save. But yeah, for study, I would say that you can save those
Okay.
parts. Yeah. So suppose I want to see this moving average and I want to save this done. You can have your display, sorry, on the view, you go and you can have the option to save. Suppose if I want to save this what TCS, the name of TCS. So I would say any name, something like XYZ, for example, save. So you have an option to save.
Right.
Whenever I
Okay.
click, you can see this chart happening.
Okay.
So you have an option. Just want to, I just forget one part that a multiple chart. You have an option of multiple chart also here, Swati,
Okay.
where you can
Okay.
have two charts at one point of time. Suppose if I want to add Asian paint, Asian paint, and I would like to have Benzo paint also on the same chart because I'm doing some studies here, for example, on the consumption. Or I'm interested to look for paint stock. If I this thing I've done, there's a next screen, a different screen is getting open here, where you can have two charts at one point. See, and this
Yes.
screen is something different compared to the previous. If I go on to
Yeah.
go back to this back my normal screen, I can go back
Mhm.
and I can here again I can have multiple charts here. So here also I can do my studies. All those studies are
Okay.
available, which we have seen here. So there is also an option of four charts at one point of time. So you can have four multiple charts at one point of time also.
Okay.
Move to that. Yeah, you can go back to your Nifty chart. And last but not the least, I would say you can also change the color. Suppose if this is a white background, if I want a night background
Mhm.
or black color, you can also have the option of black, selecting the black candle also. So both options are available, whether you want to go with the white background or a black background. One more suggestion, people should always look for log scale. I think so that give you much better signals and much better way to understand the chart. So log scale, here you have an option to select whether you want to go for log or linear. So log I think is the one which is the most preferred one. One can look for.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dharmesh Shah, for
Thank you.
being a part
Yeah,
today
thanks a lot.
of.
My pleasure
Thank
to
you
be
so
there.
much for being a
Yeah,
part of our exclusive webinar. With that, we come to an end of our webinar today on advanced live streaming charts on ICICIdirect.com.
yeah. Thank you. Once again.